Welcome to the Dream It Dose. In the next 5 minutes, we'll talk about if you've got traction, an extremely compelling and unique way to pitch your startup, and how to make sure you stand head and shoulders above every other startup that's out there pitching today. Let's dive in. You may not know this, but you only have a few minutes to catch an investor's attention. Otherwise, they just tune out and they've already made up their mind. You probably are aware of the 10 to 15 standard slides you should have in your pitch deck, but if you've got traction, I want you to add another slide in there, and it's all about doing a flashback pitch. What do I mean by a flashback? It's just like when you see a movie that's got a flashback format to it. You know, movies that are dramas like Titanic or Social Network that start with the end of the movie in the beginning, and then the rest of the movie is the journey that builds to that ending. If you've got traction, that's what you should do in your pitch deck. Use this flashback technique and give highlights of what you're going to talk about in your deck, the key essential items of what you're going to talk about in your pitch deck right up front in the first couple of minutes, and grab that investor's attention. So how do you do it? You have your cover slide of your deck, and your next slide is going to be your snapshot slide. And in one slide, you're going to cover all of the key points, and you're going to be able to deliver that in about 1 minute. In that 1 minute, you're going to give really compelling information. And if the investors don't find it compelling, you probably have much bigger issues going on with your pitch deck and how that meeting is going to go. Now, what you cover on that snapshot slide, because it's very condensed and you only have a minute to get through it, is really important. We're going to get to that in a moment. I know I'm going quickly, so please make sure to leave your questions in the comments section and subscribe. We have a lot more coming. So you're on the second slide of your pitch deck, probably entitled Snapshot. What are you going to include on there? All of the key items from your pitch deck with really succinct answers and definitions, almost like Twitter posts about these key items. Things like, what's the problem that you're solving? What's the solution and what's unique about it? How big is the market size? What's your revenue model? How much traction do you have to date? Like number of customers, ARR, MRR, trials, and growth. How much have you raised in the past? How much are you raising going forward? And what are the goals of that raise? Those are pretty much the key items you can include in a snapshot on one page that you can deliver in 1 minute. Let's kind of fill in the blanks and see what one looks like. The problem that we're solving is we stop prescription errors in hospitals. You may not know this, but about 3% of all prescriptions written to patients in hospitals when they're inpatient are an error. Our solution takes a unique big data approach, almost like the way credit card fraud is detected, to stop prescription errors in hospitals. The market is huge. There's 6,000 hospitals in the market today, and I can say that we generally charge about $200,000 a year, so our total addressable market is X. Today, our traction is we have 3 hospitals using the system already. We have 6 more under trial. In the past, we've raised $2 million to get us to where we are to date. Going forward, we're raising another $5 million to get ourselves to a $10 million ARR within the next 1 to 2 years. See how that works? In less than 2 minutes, you've set the hook. You've really set yourself apart because up front, you're talking about the traction that you have, what you've de-risked, how much you're raising, and the goals you have for that raise. It's really, really unusual. So you're giving them the compelling information that's most interesting to them while they're still listening and haven't tuned you out. As Andrew Ackerman from Dream It likes to say, if I don't hear a startup talking about traction in the first few minutes, I assume it's because they have none. Otherwise, why wouldn't they talk about that? It's what we're most interested in hearing. So make sure, hit that traction, hit those key points right up front in a snapshot slide, then you're going to transition to the rest of your deck, but you've got the investor's attention. They're fully listening, and now they want to hear your full story and the full journey. So what do you need to remember? Use it if you've got traction. Second slide of your deck is entitled something like Snapshot. Then you have all the key items from your pitch deck, 1 sentence on each. What's the problem? What's the solution? What's your revenue model? What's the market size? Who are your key customers? What traction do you have to date? Maybe your ARR, your MRR is listed in there. How much have you raised? How much are you raising? What are the goals of that raise? That's it. That's what goes in that snapshot summary. Then from there, just resume your normal pitch deck. That's your Dream It Dose in about 5 minutes. I look forward to answering your questions in the comments section. See you next time. You may not know this, but you only have a few minutes to catch those You've probably, you're like, I got so much editing to do. Time's money, let's go. Come out. That's it. That's how you do a flashback